I've been running a development agency for the past 3 years. I've helped dozens of companies build software. If you want to run any kind of software business, I can tell you exactly what not to do, and that is to build a product that you don't yourself love and use on a daily basis. Now, what I mean by this is basically I have helped way too many founders build stuff that ultimately didn't actually provide the value that they imagined. They didn't use it themselves, their customers didn't use it, and honestly, the easiest way to figure out if something is useful is to actually see if you would use it yourself. Like if you're not using your own tool on a daily basis, who is? And there are some situations in which, maybe you create a tool for somebody else because they need it, like they come to you, that's completely fine, that's different. If you want to start some kind of software business, if you want to make some kind of app, do you actually use it because it's useful? Like if it wasn't yours, would you still use it? And the reality is most software founders don't actually think about this when they start their first company. And this I think is a first-time founder mistake especially. But I've helped a lot of founders, some, more first-time founders, and I've seen this mistake way too often, and it's where people basically lose a lot of money building the wrong shit. If I can save somebody that pain, I think it's worthwhile. And I think it's just like the biggest pitfall that most people fall into, and it seems like an obvious one. Sorry, the first ever software company that I made, it was my own company, it wasn't this agency, it was before this, and it was meant to be this tool for students. And we built this, and my co-founders and I basically built this thing, and we tried to beta trial it, and it didn't get a lot of usage. And I said, listen, we fundamentally haven't built something useful because of all these reasons, like people aren't using our platform. And some of my co-founders wanted to build some like extra features and just add chat and video, make it like an all-in-one hub. Man, the reality is if people aren't using it for a particular problem, they're not going to use it just because now it has other things too. It just fundamentally didn't solve a problem. We ourselves didn't use it. We ourselves didn't find value in the platform. And so if we didn't find value in the platform, who else would? I think this information sounds obvious to me. Maybe it's not to some. Maybe it sounds obvious to you too. But the number of people who still fall in this pitfall is just absolutely gigantic. And so if you're building a software product, if you're working on any kind of software in your business, bringing software to your business, think about the fact that somebody out there has to use this software on a daily basis and it has to solve a real problem. Just using it because you built it is not going to make it useful as well. Like you have to try your own medicine. You have to take your own poison. If you are just forcing yourself to use the software, then maybe nobody else really wants to use it. Like if it doesn't actually help you in your goal, it's potentially not helping anybody else either. And I think this is like one of the most true things in any business. But like at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. If you use your own thing, it's a really strong example of just how useful it can be if you find a lot of value in it. Actually, the founder of Lemlist, he's this guy who's built, I don't know, I think they're worth like, I think they do like $20 million in revenue. He bootstrapped the entire thing without VC funding, which is something that, by the way, I have spoken on. And generally, I think that doing SaaS without VC funding is really hard for a number of reasons, but that's for another video. And he's one guy who's done it well. And what he did was he was always using his own platform the whole time. And he built Lemlist, which is the cold emailing software. And he used Lemlist to cold email people to sell it. And so that made sense. Like he was using the platform himself on a daily basis. And so he knew exactly how it solved his problems versus the other competitors out there. Specifically, he wanted stuff around like image customization and video customization that other platforms didn't offer. And so he solved his own problems and he actually found utility in it. That was the thing that he focused on. It's just like, you have to use your own thing. Man, I don't know. I think it's surprising how many founders don't do that a lot. It is surprising how many clients even sometimes they will hire us to build things and then they won't check on their platform, even though there's a demo that is live that they can use. It's got a lot of features. They sometimes won't even use it for like 2 weeks. And their situation sometimes is different. Maybe they're making a tool for an external client or something like that, in which it's a bit different. But sometimes they make their own internal tools and they don't even use them. And when they're not using their own internal tools, it's going to be really hard to sell to anybody else. And unfortunately, actually, I saw one client do just that, where they built something which they wanted to sell and kind of white label and license. But the reality is they didn't use it that much themselves. And so when they went to sell it, guess what? Nobody else was really massively interested because the value add wasn't there for them and it wasn't there for anybody else too. And I think it's just a cautionary tale that is worth sharing for anybody who's trying to get into the software game.